The Kylian Mbappé situation is a bit strange, at least from Real Madrid's point of view. You have a player that you want, whose contract will run out in 2022, and who you are free to sign on a pre-contract in 4 months' time. Why pay 160 million euros plus right now? What's up? I'm Adrian, and let's go through all angles of this somewhat puzzling situation. It boils down to two things that we'll explore in this video. Why would Real Madrid bother to make this kind of offer in the first place when they can have him for free next summer? Or at least, free with a signing on bonus. And why would PSG not take the money from Real Madrid when they would otherwise lose him for free? I have a feeling the second question is slightly easier to answer, especially after Leonardo's quotes from today. So let's start with our conversation with Carl Oskar Schellström, a contributor to PSG Talk who is a great Twitter follow if you want to stay in the know on everything PSG, supporter or otherwise. Let's get PSG's point of view of things. How have things progressed since last night? Because of course there was Chiringuito and everything saying, a monumental bid for Kylian Mbappé. Now today, after Leonardo spoke to RMC and to L'Equipe, what's the situation currently?
Last night, I was quite angry with our dear friend Nasser Al-Khelaifi because it just seemed that he was a brick wall that didn't want to move, considering he doesn't really work in the same way as some other more conventional president or chairman. I just wasn't really that optimistic that he actually was negotiating. I was just thinking he was just complete brick wall that tried to keep his pride or something. But yeah, it seems to have changed a bit with the Leo quotes, doesn't it? I personally hope that PSG actually negotiate and find a fee somewhere around sort of 180 million if they can. I think it's a great deal for PSG. I have no idea what Real Madrid are doing. But I won't complain as a fan. I really won't.
Yeah, and I realize that you don't necessarily speak for all PSG supporters, but what is the general feeling around all of this? Has Messi's arrival sort of made some supporters indifferent to the Mbappé situation? Has it made them want to see him leave for money and as opposed to leaving for free next summer?
I've been in the camp that essentially, ever since last summer, but unless you can get him to extend, maybe in the beginning of August, which was about a month ago, you should be looking to sell him because it is such a valuable asset. And yes, PSG do have money that they can use, but you have to wonder if that money can, those 150-ish million can be used in a good way to sort of rejuvenate quite an aging squad. I think it's the third oldest squad now in Liga, which is a problem that I've been calling out for a long time. It's a lot of old players on sort of bloated contracts that just don't want to get moved because they have a nice life in Paris with a good wage. But in terms of the fan base itself, based on what I saw yesterday, I think maybe it's sort of 75% want him out, considering the fee that's been bandied about. Because, you have a good chance of winning the Champions League this season. I would say in the top three. Those 25% that want him to stay are thinking somewhat short-sightedly. I think you need to, even though PSG is a club that is looking for immediate success, you still have to, as a fan, want longevity as well. So using that money to rejuvenate the squad, get someone like Eduardo Camavinga in or Thierry Hernandez. I think most fans right now want him gone, considering the fee that's bandied about.
I think what makes this all a little bit confusing, there's a few things that make it confusing, definitely from the Real Madrid side of things, but from the PSG side of things, they were saying, we aren't going to sell him. Nasser was saying that. He's maintained that for a long time now, to his credit. And it sort of seemed like, well, why are you saying no to this 160 million? I guess it's because you don't necessarily need the money, given PSG's financial situation. But are they playing chicken with Florentino to try to drive the price up? Because if they are doing that, then that sort of negates the we don't need the money aspect of it. It all seems a little bit confusing for me. Now, of course, I know that you're a PSG supporter, not a Real Madrid supporter, or can provide their perspective. But let's just sort of think about this for a moment. How does this make sense for them? Are they concerned that Mbappé will want to stay and renew his contract, stay with Neymar and Messi for another year, try and get that Champions League title with PSG? He is from Paris. So are they willing to dish out the cash ahead of time to sort of show that, we do really want you, this is our intent? Or, how does this make sense to you?
Yeah, so I actually asked basically the same question in a Real Madrid sort of thread on Twitter yesterday, because I didn't get it at all. For me, the most logical thing to do is, right, wait 4 months, sign a pre-contract in January, then you can actually use those 180 million to sort of rebuild that squad, because it's not the same squad that won La Decima. And, well, I guess the issue is that it is the same squad that won those trophies, because you have quite an aging midfield. Even though those players are great, you still need new, fresh players, just like PSG. So wait 4 months. Just in Sweden, we have an expression called have some ice in the stomach, which is essentially calm down, keep it cool, wait a minute, and just go with the plan. So yeah, I have no idea. What the fans said was they were afraid that Mbappé was going to change his mind and that kind of stuff. But it seems so unlikely at this point. I mean, all the reports are actually pointing to, it's not like just El Chiringuito who's reporting it. Is respectable journalists that actually are reporting that he wants Real Madrid. Some also said that they have a chance of winning the Champions League this season, which, of course, they're probably the fifth favorites after Bayern München, in my opinion.
I mean, and this is a PSG supporter saying this to Real Madrid, like, save your own money, save yourselves from paying this huge outlay of cash for him. It just, it sort of, all of this sort of flies in the optics of it are kind of weird, aren't they? Because it sort of flies in the face of what Florentino has been banging on about for the last year or so, about, needing the Super League for financial reasons. I know they got rid of a lot of players, but still, to offer this much for one player whose contract is winding down and you could secure for free, or at least, with the signing bonus in 2022, it's got to be quite the luxury. It really does sort of raise some questions about what the financial situation really is, if this is really just sort of just to show some intent to Kylian Mbappé. But there has to be some sort of doubt in their mind. There has to be something at play here, because now you read this quote from Leonardo today where he's saying, Mbappé promised us he wouldn't leave for free, but then he's not signing a contract either. So it's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that quote from Leonardo is probably just to put pressure on. I would assume. I'm not privy to the internal conversations.
I know that it's, football, and just trying to predict anything, it makes a fool of us all, of course. But if you were to guess at this moment, do you see Kylian Mbappé wearing a PSG kit in September or a Real Madrid one?
I hope that it sounds weird, but I hope he's wearing a Merengues white jersey alongside the likes of Benzema, because I think PSG could do with the money and reinvest that. But I think it's so 50-50 right now. Any minute a report could come out that PSG have accepted the bid. I'm gonna go for a Real Madrid kit next season for Kylian Mbappé.
I like that. It's exciting. Exciting to think of something like that. As we went over with Carl Oscar, it was easy to understand, to a certain degree at least, why PSG would have been interested in keeping Mbappé and letting him leave for free. Strictly for sporting reasons, at least. The M&M attacking trio would be, on paper and theoretically, one of the best attacking trios that football has ever seen, and would provide one of their best opportunities to finally lift the Champions League trophy. And if money really isn't an issue for them, which it isn't, what's another 160 million euros for perhaps the richest club in the world, Again, a wrench was thrown into that via the Leonardo quotes that came out today surrounding the whole situation. Suddenly, Leonardo has admitted that Mbappé wants to leave, and that he can do so if Real Madrid meet their demands. Here are a few notable quotes from Leonardo's massive conversation with RMC Sport. Quote, "We made two significant offers to Kylian, one at the level of the top players in our squad 2 months ago, and one above that of those players very recently. We want to prove to him that he is an important player at the center of our project, but not above the project. In terms of our position on Real, it seems like a strategy to try to get a no from us, to show that they have tried everything, and to wait for a year to get him for free. For the last 2 years, Real Madrid have been behaving like this. It is not correct, illegal even, because they contacted the player. We said no verbally, but we will not hold anyone back. If someone wants to leave and our conditions are met, we will see. But we have created a dream with our players this summer, and we will not let anyone destroy it. We consider the offer to be very far from what Kylian represents today." Mbappé wants to leave. That seems clear. We cannot, the week before the end of the window, change our plans. If he wants to leave, we will not hold him back, but on our terms. So he reiterated that PSG's only desire is to hang on to Kylian Mbappé, but if anyone wants to leave the club, Kylian or otherwise, they can do so long as PSG's financial requirements are met. He also stated that the compensation that would be due for Monaco does play a role in all of this, at least as far as why they rejected the sale at 160 million, but would maybe consider the sale somewhere between, and this is me just speculating here, 180 to 200 million euros. But from Real Madrid's point of view, let's look at that now. Leonardo said that he thinks this is just a way for Real Madrid to signal their intent, to make absolutely sure that Mbappé is aware of how badly they want him. But if that's the case, they must not be 100% sure that Mbappé would choose their project over another, whether that's in the Premier League or PSG's own project is another question. They must have felt like they needed to give assurances to Mbappé, the reason of which is unknown at the moment. And then there's another part of me that gets a little bit tinfoil hat-ish, and this is absolutely 100% speculation from my part that I am sharing for the sake of discussion, so take from it what you will. Part of me feels like this is a power play from Florentino. He feels as if Real Madrid's respect in the footballing world, their former reputation, has taken a bit of a hit recently. The club that won the Champions League for fun and was signing big money players left, right, and center, suddenly they have taken a few transfer windows off from signing players. Their power in Europe has waned. And they've probably taken those summers off from signing players intelligently so, with the reports of their precarious financial situation. And then you add in the failure of the Super League, in which Perez was basically stating that the top European clubs were on their knees. Reports of Real Madrid's delicate financial situation coming out and how they should be thankful that Barcelona's issues are much worse because it makes theirs seem small comparatively. Perhaps this is a move to show that, hey, we're still here. We're still capable of mixing it up with the other clubs in Europe, like Chelsea, Man City, and PSG financially, because at one time, it was Real Madrid who were making the big money signings that other clubs could only dream of during the Galactico era. That's not necessarily the case, to a certain extent. But if that's what this is about, it seems a bit misguided to do so when you come back to the fact that Mbappé would be free next summer. Unless, again, there's reason in Real Madrid's camp to think that Mbappe's head has been turned by another project that he would choose over Real Madrid's when he can walk for free next summer. But what do you guys think? Does this transfer make sense right now? Let me know in the comments. I look forward to hearing your takes on the situation. If you're finding us for the first time, by the way, and you liked what you saw, do be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss our next video. Again, I'm Adrian. A huge thank you to Carl Oscar for joining me on such short notice, and a great day to you all. Ciao.